Good day, folks. Thank you so much for joining. Today we have with us Fardeen Shere, a slightly different guest as we normally have. He was not born in Canada, but came to Canada at a very early stage in his life and has had gone through the whole school system and then studied here for through his university and now in a professional capacity. So a little bit of a different flavor of what we'll be talking about with Fardeen today. But Fardeen, if you can get started by telling us a little bit about yourself as far back as you want to go.
All right. So currently where I am, I'm a senior manager at RBC for digital marketing and sales. I specialize in investments. I went to university here at Ryerson for business technology management with a minor in economics. Um, throughout university, I was doing freelance digital marketing, working with small businesses as well as startups, doing photography, videography, social media management, as well as building websites for them. So I had that portfolio. From there, I kind of moved on to the banking world and started working in digital marketing, mainly on the side of reporting and analytics. So that was kind of my background, with mainly working with Google Analytics on the banking side. It was a great exposure for me at the time because the way our business is set up, I got to work with kind of cross-platform between many different businesses. So not just RBC Royal Bank, but as well as RBC Direct Investing, RBC Investees, all the different lines of businesses for self-managed as well as portfolio managed. Working on the reporting side gave me a lot of insight into what's important for these businesses and like KPIs, as well as working on the tracking side of things, implementing tracking on all these applications. It was very great exposure for me. And then I wanted to kind of pursue a little bit more, have a little bit of a change of mandate. So I started I was lucky to have a very good manager who supported me. So I started working on the product side of things, managing GICs and mutual funds, working anywhere from building landing pages, email campaigns that go out to clients, little messages you see in online banking, all of those. And now in a senior management position, I'm working more on strategic initiatives. So, bigger picture stuff, looking a little bit further down the roadmap of like what's to come and like features and stuff at the bank. So it's very exciting. A
Nice.
lot of new stuff. Yeah.
So with you, I'll have a slightly different conversation as I normally have. But with you, I want to ask through the school system as to how you moved through the school system. Uh, did you at any point thought that this will lead into where you are right now? And what kind of opportunities and things you would advise to youngsters to be focusing on while they're navigating through school in hindsight now? So.
Sorry, you were just cutting out there. Could
Oh,
you?
I was cutting out.
Yeah.
And no, so what I was saying was that in hindsight, based as to
Mhm.
what you have gone through already in your career, what would your recommendation be to all those kids? Or no, I don't want to call them kids, but young adults who are going through university, that what should they be focusing on and how they steer their careers to get to do something similar as you are doing?
First thing, always study something that actually interests you. Don't go down a path where, your parents tell you you should do this or anything, because if it doesn't work out, you only end up kind of blaming yourself. Definitely study something that interests you and, network a lot with your peers that are in school with you and try to get as many co-op opportunities as you can. Co-op is something that is really valuable. I did not have the opportunity to have co-op, but I've seen my peers and stuff who did, and like where that's gotten them in life. So co-op is huge. Always being willing to learn in things like just because you're studying a certain major does not mean you can't pursue interests otherwise. Like for me, I was in school for business technology management. I love computers, I love networking, but at the same time, my passion at that time was like cars and photography and stuff. And it really gave me a chance to diversify my interests and kind of fed me into this path of working at this job because of the digital marketing experience I got as something that started off as a hobby, but ended up being my full-time career.
Interesting. So that's a good way to position that. So I know you talked and touched a little bit about what you are doing in your current role, but what is one day in the life of Fardeen Shere? So the morning you wake up and I know you still go to work because you like going to work and not work remotely. So which is also something which I like your views about. Which one do you prefer? Like, do you think it's better for you as a person who just started a company to be able to work remotely, or would you like to be on site? That's the first question, and why? And the second one is when you get to your work, how does your day lead up to till the time that you go back to the go train?
Yeah, so I do go into work. I actually prefer going to work rather than working at home. As someone who started this job during COVID, my whole experience for the first year and a half working here was remote, and I prefer working from the office because I get to meet my colleagues. I get to, it's a lot easier to bounce ideas off someone or just have like the quick 2 minute conversation between meetings and stuff. It's really important to have that face to face with your colleagues, and it also like helps build rapport, right? I feel like when you're working strictly remotely, you don't get that much of the personality of the person. And I feel like that is very important in your communications when you're speaking to people or like just knowing how to like, work with them efficiently. It helps like seeing them in person. So that's why I like going into office.
No, that makes sense. And you know what? That is actually true because for some of the senior resources, it may not matter that much that, they already know the ropes and they know the organization, so they can work remotely. But for somebody who's entering into the organization new, for them to navigate through the whole processes and to know people, I think absolutely, I hear you. So, and what is one day in the life of Fardeen Share?
So depending on the day, some days are very meeting heavy. So I'll be at work and then, working on either like email campaigns, designing a landing page, working with our external developers. Sometimes we're implementing new technologies at work. So that's working with like our internal developers and resources to kind of figure out how we can serve a better customer experience for our clients. Other than that, meetings, a lot of them depending on, the projects. Some like higher level, more strategic projects require more time because there's obviously more discussions to be had because, new technologies which we haven't worked with before. But yeah, there's a lot of hands-on stuff where I'm working through copy, getting approvals, working with legal and compliance, making sure everything is good on that end. Working in the banking industry, there's a lot of regulatory compliance that we have to do. So it's great. We have to just run everything through legal and then yeah, copy reviews, working with our developers on landing pages, working with our internal developers on new technologies. That's a regular day.
That's nice, good. One last question for you, Fardeen, and that is in terms of the I know you didn't study digital marketing as a course in school, right? You did not do that, right?
I did some analytics work
Yeah,
in school. I did a lot of analytics courses and like, basic coding and stuff, which actually comes in very handy having that bit of technical knowledge because
yeah.
um, like digital marketing is very heavy on like your basics HTML, CSS stuff. So that's very important. And then having a good understanding of analytics is also very important to understand, what our customers like, what our clients are looking for.
So on that note, would you recommend doing these certifications like the digital marketing certifications for somebody who wants to pursue, or do you think you can work without them? You don't have to go through that certification process.
I think the certifications definitely help. I think even in
Mhm.
my case, like having the Google Analytics certification really was an asset when I started working here. And just having that like know-how of like how to navigate the platform is really important, right? A lot of times you'll start working somewhere and you don't know exactly how to use the technologies and use the platforms. And having that certification just puts you a step ahead, so you don't have to go through that initial research of like how do I solve this problem, and you can start focusing on actually how to solve the problem.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Fardeen, for taking the time out today and going through this. And I'm sure people watching would be able to benefit from your advice and guidance. So once again, thank you.
Thank you.